Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
When you own your own business, you need to keep things moving. Need to book a last-minute flight? Earn a $300 travel credit to cover that. Need to take a meeting before takeoff? Do it from the comfort of the Chase Sapphire Lounge by the club. Need to catch your breath before you board? Done. With $2,500 in annual value, the new Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business is the card that gives back all you put in. Visit chase.com/reserve business to learn more. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member of FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Well, Sunday morning. With us is Jesse Arms, and he's the vice president of the Manhattan Institute. And on a Sunday morning, I mean, it's only 3 days away from New Year's. Jesse, give us your vision.
John, thanks for having me. My vision is one that's sort of open-ended. There's a lot of conversation going around in the media right now about what it is that this next generation of conservatives believe. And I just got back from Nashville, Tennessee, where I had a group of red state Republican Gen Z Zoomers. That means people between the ages of 18 and 29, and talked to them for the Manhattan Institute's magazine, City Journal, in a focus group about what it is they think. And we talked about everything. We talked about Donald Trump. We talked about J.D. Vance. We talked about Hitler. We talked about racism, politics, the economy, and more. And this is a generation that's got a lot of out there ideas.
And what was your conclusion?
The conclusion is that Gen Z is spending a lot of time on their phones. They're spending a lot of time on TikTok. Their brains are being kind of fried, for lack of a better term. They're aware of that themselves. In many ways, they're a generation that is more progressive than the median GOP voter. But in other ways, they're just sort of out there. So there was a lot of drama over the past few days about this Turning Point USA event. That's Charlie Kirk's organization out in Arizona. They brought together tens of thousands of conservatives, young conservatives, from all over the country, and there was some drama. Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro gave kind of dueling speeches with different visions of what the best path forward for the GOP might be. But at the end of the day, I think one conclusion came across that's relatively clear. Young people are not different from older conservatives in certain core beliefs. They believe in a strong America. They want to see an America that is friendly to markets, that allows the economy to grow without the inhibition from government intervention. And they're really excited about what tomorrow may bring, even if they have different visions of how we get there.
Wow. Tell me, are you seeing a big education gap between kids that go to more liberal schools versus kids that are going into more of the southern schools?
Yeah. When we did this event down in Nashville, this focus group where we brought a bunch of Zoomer Republicans around a table and talked to them about how they think about issues, one of the things that really struck me was how much more mature and talkative the kids who didn't attend four-year college degree programs actually were relative to those who were still in school or had just recently graduated from these four-year degree programs. So it is true to some extent that people are going away to college and spending these times and a lot of money in formative years of their life to learn things, and they're only coming out a little bit more without their ideas than they would have had they just stayed home and maybe gotten a job or something like that. So this is an interesting dynamic with respect to how the next generation is being shaped. But above all else, John, more than any of the discrepancies with respect to their educational backgrounds, I was just blown away that we went to the rural South, brought kids from far outside of Nashville who drove a long way to be there, and still, in a really religious room, so many of them, or rather, so few of them reported being married or even being in a serious relationship. This is a really interesting dynamic that's plaguing the next generation. They're very isolated. They feel alone. A lot of them have not paired up and gotten married and settled as early as their parents' generation did. And even though many of them think they'll economically be upwardly mobile, they'll make just as much money or more than their parents, they are saying that they're not ready to settle down and buy homes yet, not just because of the economic considerations, but because they're just not in a position where they know what they want to do with their life or who they want to settle down with yet. And that's given people what one of our focus group participants called a little bit of Peter Pan syndrome. So that may be a little bit of an explainer with respect to why some of these anxieties and oddities exist with this new generation of conservatives.
So the kids are getting married later and later right now and buying homes later and later. Is that bottom line?
I think we hear a lot in the media about housing prices being the single biggest reason why Gen Z is plagued or angry or all over the place with respect to their politics. But the truth is there are different dynamics going on. When we actually probed this group of participants about why it is they haven't bought a home yet, some cited economic concerns, sure, but a whole lot more of them talked about their job might move them around. They don't have a partner yet that they know they want to settle down with. They're not sure where they want to live. They want to be in the city now, but they might want to be in the country later. So there's a lot more going on than meets the eye, and I think what the mainstream media is often willing to tell us. Yes, this is a generation of kids that feel certain economic anxieties, but what generation of kids hasn't? And the politics of this generation may really begin to change once the boomer generation dies off and this country sees one of the biggest transfers of wealth generationally that it's ever seen.
Well, anything else you want to tell the American people?
I just want to say that everybody should kind of keep in mind an optimistic spirit, especially going in here to the Christmas holiday and New Year's. There's a lot of negativity being reported in the news constantly, and I think that the more that we can anchor our pitch as Americans around a success-oriented pitch for the American future and a positive pitch, I think that a lot of Americans will be excited about that. The online trenches, they tempt us with grievance politics and angry victimhood politics, but I think in 2026, if we can have a politics that is a little bit more optimistic, it'll be a good thing for the country.
Well, Jesse Arms, Manhattan Institute, thank you so much for coming on, and Happy New Year, and we'll talk in the new year.
Thanks, John. Have a good one.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.